As we've been discussing on the Steeler Thoughts Chief Feeling podcast, Patrick Mahomes has been talking a lot this offseason about returning to making tight window throws and pushing the ball down the field. That's something that was lacking in the Chiefs' offense last year. And last year, for the first time, it really felt like some of it was due to Mahomes' tendencies, not just due to the wide receiver situation, like might have been more the case in 2023. Well, we saw some examples in film reviews of the preseason of this happening, and here we see it a lot in the Chiefs' 22-9 victory over the Giants on Sunday Night Football in Week 3. So let's take a look at some of these plays that illustrate how Mahomes has shown a newfound commitment to throwing the ball downfield and pushing the ball into tight windows. We're going to start with this play here from the first quarter, 5:29 to go in the first quarter of a 0-0 game. The Chiefs have the ball. This is their first drive of the game, and they have a 1st and 10 at the Giants' 47-yard line. Let's take a look at this play real quick, and then we can break it down. We've got Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got Kelsey and Juju to his right, Thornton and Brown to his left, and then Thornton motions over to create a bunch to the right. Mahomes drops back in the gun and throws a deep pass down the right side that is just incomplete. It's caught by Thornton, but he couldn't get 2 feet in bounds. So let's take a look at what happened here. The Chiefs, as we noted, lined up in shotgun, and they're in 11 personnel, meaning they've got one running back, that's Ajay Pacheco, and one tight end, that's Travis Kelce. The wide receivers are initially split with Juju tight to the right, Tyquan Thornton in the slot on the left, and then Hollywood Brown on the left end in a condensed split on the left side. Tyquan Thornton then motions over to the right side to form a bunch with Juju and Kelsey. So they're going to run the following route combination. Out of the point of the bunch, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to come, and then he's going to run kind of a return route toward the middle of the field. Travis Kelce is going to come out toward the flat, and then Tyquan Thornton is going to come up and run a corner route. On the other side, Hollywood Brown is going to run a curl, and Ajay Pacheco is going to run out to the flat. If you see the way that the Giants are defending this, they're just playing cover one man. So the way that they're lined up, you see they even have a man trailing Tyquan Thornton as he comes across, which is a pretty strong man indicator pre-snap. And then they kind of split up. They don't really do much of a switch release at all. So the guy who's lined up over Kelsey stays with Kelsey. The guy over Juju stays with Juju. The guy over Thornton stays with Thornton. You've got one deep safety here in the middle of the field. As they come out of the bunch and split up, you see it's just straight man coverage. And the safety stays in the middle of the field, leaving Thornton one-on-one on his corner pattern. And look at where Mahomes decides to throw this. Mahomes is loading up right here, and he's already ready to throw. Thornton has not left his break. He's not given any indication he's going to beat his man. That's good. That's an aggressive play from Mahomes here on first down. And really, it's an indicative of the trust that he has in Tyquan Thornton. You know, in order to be able to make this throw on time, he's got to trust that he's going to win this route one-on-one. That if he has him in this position, he's deciding to throw before he knows what's going to happen. And that's important to know on these deep shots that are thrown in rhythm, and a reason why some of Mahomes' deep throws can look so far off. Because he's making a throw assuming a receiver is going to break his route off at a specific depth and at a specific angle. As you can see here, he's deciding to throw before he even knows how Thornton is going to break off this stem. So if a receiver breaks the route too deep or too shallow, it's going to look like the ball was way off. But ultimately, it's just a miscommunication between the quarterback and receiver. But when he decides to pull the trigger on the throw, you can tell the trust he has that Thornton is going to be where he needs him to be, and he was. Unfortunately, this ball is really tight to the sideline. Honestly, you know, it's asking a lot of a receiver, but if Thornton doesn't try to take this in stride, but instead plants his feet and tries to, make a toe tap catch on the sideline, I think he's able to make this catch in bounds. The ball is not so far out of bounds the way that it's thrown that it couldn't be caught in bounds. It's a tough catch. And part of the reason why it might be so tight to the sideline, if you can see with the pass rush, Creed Humphrey which is rare for him, he gets beat pretty early, and his man comes around and actually gets right into Mahomes' throwing lane. So Mahomes isn't properly able to follow through on this throw. I mean, given the circumstances, it's a really good throw. And it's just unfortunate, like, Thornton tried to stop his foot right here, and he ends up maybe a foot out of bounds. So I really feel like if he was able to toe tap and lean, he probably could have caught this ball in bounds, although that's, it's a tough catch. It's asking a lot from a receiver. Now you can see the throw here from the end zone cam. There they send Thornton in motion, they get their man indicator, and then he goes. And you can see Mahomes sets up, and here's where he, the pocket is collapsing on him right in front. He's not quite able to follow through on this throw. But as we get to Thornton, you can see this ball it's not like it's thrown like way out of bounds. We've definitely seen receivers able to, instead of trying to catch this in stride, they just stick their feet down and lean out of bounds to try to make this catch. It would have been a really tough catch, but it's hard to place the ball better than that, and it's nearly impossible to place it better than that given the circumstances of not being able to follow through. Unfortunately, the Chiefs weren't able to complete that one, but it's a good indicator of what Mahomes' mindset would be tonight, and hopefully will be throughout the season going forward. We now jump ahead on the same drive. We've got a 2nd and 10 at the Giants' 36-yard line, still a 0-0 ball game toward the end of the first quarter, about 4 minutes to go in the quarter. So let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. We've got Mahomes in the shotgun, Pacheco back there with him. He's got Kelsey motion to the left, so he's got a 2x2. He drops back in the gun, throws deep down the left sideline to Kelsey, and the ball falls harmlessly to the ground. So let's take a look at what happened on this play. So on this 2nd down play, the Chiefs are again in 11 personnel, meaning 1 running back, 1 tight end. That's Pacheco and Kelsey. On the left, you have Tyquan Thornton isolated over there. Juju Smith-Schuster is on the right in the slot. And on the far right, you've got Hollywood Brown. So first things to start, you're going to get Kelsey motioned over to the left. That brings the safety down. And again, you can see pre-snap, this again looks like man-to-man coverage with 1 deep safety. It looks like we've got man here, man on Pacheco, man. What the Chiefs are going to do from this, on the right side, you've got Juju with the slant and Hollywood with a backside dig. On this side, you've got a switch release, that kind of like scissors route combination. Kelsey is going to take an out and up, and Tyquan Thornton is going to come up inside. And really, his role here is going to be to try to pick Kelsey's man that Kelsey can run underneath and get a nice release, hopefully running wide open down the sideline. So again, if we watch this in action, Mahomes is reading that left side first, and here you can see the pick action. The timing here is important. Thornton's coming in first, Kelsey's trying to come in behind. Ideally, Thornton is going to try to get in between Kelsey's defender and the sideline as he tries to follow, so that he has to hesitate, get around Thornton, and is a step behind Kelsey as he goes. So you see, as this develops, the defender actually does a very good job of sidestepping right here and avoiding Thornton. You almost wonder if Thornton was just a step to the left here, so the defender actually had to come up and over or duck under. That might have gotten Kelsey a little bit more room. But the defender, to his credit, does a great job of avoiding the pick and then following on Kelsey's back hip. But Kelsey does kind of have half a step. Now, the way that this ball is thrown, Kelsey is going to have to come back for it. So you see it kind of landing right here. Now, my critique of this play is, yes, Kelsey had a step. So the ideal ball placement is out in front of Kelsey down the sideline. That being said, if Kelsey, right at this point, stops to come back to the ball, if you look at his defender doesn't have his back turned at all. The defender is going to run right through Kelsey and get a pass interference, moving the ball down to about the 15-yard line or so. I can't tell you why Kelsey didn't do that, why he didn't try to come back to this ball. My best guess is that he didn't track it until too late. Maybe he didn't see it. But otherwise, I don't know why he wouldn't. that would be something that we would expect out of Kelce. And in fact, we have seen out of Kelce in the past, as we can take a look at some previous similar plays from Mahomes and Kelce. Most Chiefs fans will remember this game. This is the divisional playoffs from the 2019 season. The Chiefs were hosting the Texans, the game where they fell down 24-0 and came back to win 51-31. Well, in the second quarter of this game, with the Chiefs down 24-7, they had a 2nd and 10 at the Texans' 33-yard line. And watch the play that they run here. Mahomes drops back and he throws it deep down the left side to Kelce. This looks very similar to what we were seeing here against the Giants. And look what Kelce does on this throw. He stops and comes back to the ball, and the defender runs right through him. And you see the ref throwing the flag right there for pass interference. So we have seen this from Kelce before. You know, the ability as he's going down the field. Here it is on the instant replay from the reverse view. Watch as the ball is slightly underthrown. He stops, comes back, and allows the defender to run right through him. That's an easy pass interference call for an official. Here it is from up close. Stop, come back to the ball, draws the pass interference. And that's not even the only time we saw Kelce do this during that specific playoff run. This is the Super Bowl 54 against the 49ers. If you remember, this will be a couple plays after the famous 23 jet chip wasp play to Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs had a 3rd and 10, so before they really, just as they were getting that comeback started. And watch Kelce again aligned in the slot here, this time on the left side. Mahomes is going to throw it from shotgun, and again, it's a similar thing, trying to beat somebody down the numbers in this case. And look how he comes back to the ball again thrown a little underthrown, back to the ball, the defender runs right through him, he gets the pass interference call, this time in the end zone. But it's the same kind of idea that we saw against the Giants. Kelce just comes back to the ball, has the defender run right through him, and gets a pass interference call. The next play was the touchdown pass to Kelce to get it to 20-17, and at that point, the rally was on. Anyway, back to the game at hand. So we'll follow Kelce here again, and if you watch this time, as he comes down, the ball's thrown similarly. He does not come back to this ball, and it falls incomplete. Again, like I said, the only explanation I have is maybe he wasn't able to track the ball, but for whatever reason, he didn't come back to this one and wasn't able to draw a penalty on the defender, whose head clearly was not turned, looked to be in position to allow the defender to really run right through him for another pass interference call. Overall, though, again, good to see Mahomes pushing the ball downfield, this time to Kelce. Even though it didn't connect, you see that intention really from the first drive of this game. So we now jump ahead toward the end of the second quarter. 33 seconds to go in the quarter, to be exact. We're in a 6-6 game, and the Chiefs have a 2nd and 10 at their own 32-yard line, trying to get down the field and get some points to take the lead before halftime. Let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. Got Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got Gray moving to the left to give him 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and he's got Hunt in the backfield with him. He takes the snap, drops back, throws deep down the middle, and it's knocked down, intended for Tyquan Thornton. So let's take a look at what happened on this specific play. So the Chiefs, again, this time are in 12 personnel. That's 1 running back and the 2 tight ends. There's Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. That gets you 12 personnel. Their 2 wide receivers are Tyquan Thornton on the outside and Hollywood Brown toward the left. Then in motion Noah Gray over to the left, bring him in offset, and then take the snap. The Giants here, if you see, they've got the 2 safeties back in a split safety look, but their corners are playing deep off coverage too, and they're actually running a pretty standard cover 4 here. In cover 4, you split the deep part of the field into fourths. You got 4 guys back there, each responsible for a quarter of the deep field, and then you have 3 underneath defenders in shorter zones. So they're just kind of dropping back. This is toward the end. They just want to make sure to try to not give up a big play, have as many people back as you can. What the Chiefs do with their route combination to try to beat this, and it's actually a very nice play design. Hollywood Brown is going to come in and run a dig. Noah Gray actually chips and then comes on a curl. And on this side, you have Travis Kelce releasing and then running an out. And then behind him, you've got Tyquan Thornton coming up and running a post. So if you think about it, you've got a deep safety here, and you've got a corner deep here. They're each responsible for a quarter of the field. So what you're doing is you're sending Kelce out right in front of this guy who sees the guy in his quarter coming out. So he's more likely to charge on that route, leaving the post free. And you're occupying this safety who also could potentially try to come back and save that post with the dig route from Hollywood Brown here. So basically, Kelce's route is supposed to hold this safety down. Brown's route is supposed to hold this safety down, which frees up Thornton to run a post and have nobody here in the middle of the field. And that's exactly how it plays out. If you see here, watch this safety keying on Kelce's route. Look at this safety with eyes on Hollywood. And when Thornton makes the break here to run his post, this safety continues to look at Hollywood. Nobody's covering the middle of the field. It's just this corner right here. So Mahomes gears up to make this throw. He actually does get hit right toward the end, but he decides to go for it, throw this down the field for the post. And honestly, this corner, who's responsible for the outside quarter, just did such a good job. Like, look at how out of position he is right here. And look at how he closes on this throw. He comes all the way across, gauges the depth perfectly, undercuts it, and manages to get a hand on it. If you have one critique of this play from Mahomes, it's that if this ball is like a foot farther out, a foot, maybe even like 6 inches, but definitely a foot or 2 farther out, this is a touchdown, right? Because the corner is not able to undercut this. Thornton, will be just a little farther back. He doesn't have to slow down as much. He just makes that catch. The corner will fly by underneath, and Thornton will just walk this in for a touchdown. Unfortunately, this is a really long throw, and honestly, the corner just made a really great play. Most corners don't even try to undercut this. They just give up on the fact that they've given up the catch and just try to rally and make the tackle. This corner went from broke, and he made it happen. I feel like most corners in this situation that do go for broke miss. Thornton catches it and just walks into the end zone. But great play from the corner there. Like I said, if a throw that's just a foot farther out from Mahomes is a touchdown, but it's really hard to fault this throw because it's just a perfect play from the corner. Like, it's just a really, really good play by the corner. If you watch it here from the end zone view, Mahomes is looking to his right the whole way. He sees the safety stays down. He gears up and gets rid of it. And, it is a great throw. He gets it downfield on a line, and it's just a really good job by that corner. I can't believe he gauged the depth so perfectly because look at, he had a lot of ground to cover here. And he's got to gauge exactly where he's going to come and undercut it. If he himself is like a foot too close to the quarterback or a foot too far away, he misses this ball. But he timed it, gauged it perfectly, and knocked it down. Just a great play from the corner. But again, so encouraging to see Mahomes making these decisions. And a guy like Thornton giving him the opportunity. He's clearly showing the propensity to get open down the field. And so it's not just a mindset change from Mahomes. It's that he's got a guy who reliably he trusts down the field to be where he wants him to be and make plays on the ball. Really nice to see. We're now at 23 seconds to go in the second quarter. So jumped ahead just a little bit in the game. Same drive. Chiefs trying to get some points to end the half. They have a 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. We'll run this play and then break it down. we've got Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got 3 to his right, Juju alone to his left, Kareem in the backfield. He drops back to throw, doesn't see anything he likes, then gets flushed out to his right. We've got the late delay spy coming, still can't get him, and he heaves a deep pass downfield to Hollywood Brown, who's interfered with, and it ends up being a 52-yard penalty to get the Chiefs into field goal range. So, if we break down what's going on this play, the Chiefs are in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. The running back is Kareem Hunt, the tight end is Travis Kelce. The wide receivers are Juju Smith-Schuster here on the left, Hollywood Brown in the slot, Tyquan Thornton out to the right. So the route combination that the Chiefs decide to run here, on this side they just have Juju running a corner pattern and then Kareem Hunt coming in the flat behind him. On this side, they have Hollywood Brown running a deep corner, Tyquan Thornton comes in and runs a dig, and then Kelce comes to the flat, and it ends up being like a Kelce can cook route underneath. So what they do is they clear out, and so there's Kelce ends up leaking out late and having one-on-one and having all the room to operate and do his weird herky-jerky Kelce stuff. The Giants are in a kind of man match coverage this time. It looks like they're playing quarters. So what you really need to know about the principles of what they're doing is they're going to have usually the outside guy is going to be pretty consistently manned up. The only time that they're not going to take a man in like the most basic version of quarters is if he goes underneath. So the outside guy is essentially man-to-man. The safety ends up being responsible for the vertical of number 2. The number 2 on this side is Kareem Hunt. So this safety, if you notice on the play, is actually going to cheat over and help out to the strong side. So what the man match concept ends up doing is you ending up having an outside defender, a cap defender, they've got the inside defender and an underneath defender. So they kind of form a box and are able to kind of surround anybody that's trying to run a pattern here. This side, it ends up being essentially man-to-man as the safety comes over to help. They're not as worried about Juju and man coverage, so they allow man-to-man, and he's responsible for the flat. The guy who's going to take Kelce's flat is the overhang defender over here. So as we watch this play out in action, so here you can see the box forming. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got everything kind of capped. Hollywood is going to try to run out here. Thornton's going to run the dig underneath. Kelce comes out late. And what the Chiefs have done in the past in these situations is as everybody comes out deep, you kind of give Kelce the room to operate. Mahomes drops back and he looks for anything to pop open. And the thing that actually does pop open is Thornton's dig right here. So as the Giants the underneath defender is following Hollywood, and this defender, like we said, it's kind of essentially man-to-man over here. But oftentimes he'll have inside help, but they end up kind of working Hollywood's route and kind of forgetting the possibility of an in-breaking route underneath. And so Thornton comes in, and he's here. If Mahomes throws this dig, fires this dig right in here, that's a first down, and that's in Giants territory. It looks like by the time Thornton broke right there, Mahomes has turned over to look to see if Kelce is going to win. So Mahomes doesn't see him. He's looked over to Kelce, and then right about that moment, Trace Smith loses, and Mahomes gets pressure. So now all bets are off. He's got to just escape. So he manages to get away from this one. And then as the Giants were doing a lot of the night, and Collinsworth did a good job of breaking this down, they've got a 4-man rush. But essentially what they do is they have Abdul Carter kind of hang out as like a quarterback spy. So it drops into like a 3-man rush. And then when Mahomes tries to escape the pocket, Carter loops around and pressures him. This is something that in general, sending kind of loopers to account for Mahomes' scramble has been pretty successful. The team that most commonly has had good results doing it against us is the Chargers. And Carter does that, but Mahomes manages to shake Carter as well and buy even more time. And as you see here, he then points up, we're in just pure scramble drill, and he points up to Hollywood like, just go long, basically, go deep, keep on going. And it looks like the other defender that was down here with Hollywood is concerned about this route coming over the middle. Juju is as good of an ad-libber as anybody. As the scramble has started, Juju has gone from his corner pattern over here to come all the way across the field to try to make himself available to Mahomes. Thornton also has come to that side. Juju has come over, and Juju's route coming over here. This is where you love Juju Smith-Schuster's instincts. Look at him cutting to open space down the field. Like, he just knows what to do. This is why Mahomes trusts him so much in the scramble drill. There's a defender underneath. There's Thornton over here. He's not just going to keep running. He's going to run to the open space. Does a great job here, and it's that really that catches the attention of this safety, who then flies back down thinking that this is where the ball will obviously be going. Mahomes is signaling to Hollywood, though, and this is the funniest part of this, is if you watch Hollywood getting on the same page as Mahomes, watch how he's running. He's like, okay, like he's probably going to throw it somewhere over here. And then watch his reaction once Mahomes throws the ball. He's like, oh, crap. I got to get deeper. And he doesn't seem at all to be anticipating that Mahomes is going to throw this even farther down the field, which he does. And it helps out because the defender isn't ready, and as he comes around, he just grabs Brown's shoulder, and that's enough for the pass interference. Here you see it. Mahomes looking first down the middle, and I think he just ended up looking over to Kelsey. It would be around now when Tyquan Thornton would have come open, but he just wasn't looking right in that area. He then avoids pressure. Here is the looping rush from Abdul Carter. Mahomes gets away from that, and then heaves one deep. They get the pass interference. Again, Mahomes making a concerted effort to really get down the field and make plays. And it's been good for the offense, and I feel like it's only going to be better. We jump ahead now to 8:26 to go in the third quarter. Chiefs are up 9-6, and they have a 3rd and 3 at the Giants' 5-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun, starting it empty with 2 on his left, 3 on his right. He motions Kareem into the backfield, looks right, throws over the middle for a touchdown to Tyquan Thornton. So let's take a look at what happened on this one. So the Chiefs are in 11 personnel. Their one running back is Kareem Hunt out here. The one tight end is Travis Kelce. And the 3 wide receivers are Hollywood Brown out to the left, Tyquan Thornton in the slot, and Juju Smith-Schuster on the slot on the right side. So after they motion Hunt in, the play combination is they're running kind of a pick play to try to get Kelce open in the flat initially. So Juju's going to come, and he's going to sit with Kelce going to the flat underneath him, with the hope being that Juju's able to get in the way of Kelce's defender, and Kelce might have a free release to the flat and be open there. Then on the other side, so after Hunt comes around, what Hunt's going to do is just come out to the flat underneath. Hollywood Brown releases wide and runs a fade, and Tyquan Thornton runs kind of a post route to the back of the end zone. So Mahomes looks right first. He looks at this pick play, and initially when he's looking at it, it looks okay. There's going to be a shot here. I think the reason he doesn't pull the trigger is he sees Kayvon Thibodeau jumping. Mahomes has had a lot of passes knocked out at the line of scrimmage this year. So he sees Thibodeau getting into the passing lane and thinks twice. Then he resets, looks over the middle, sees Thornton win on his release. He has won. It's a tight window, but Mahomes fires this in there for the touchdown. And the Chiefs get on the board. Well, the Chiefs were on the board, but the Chiefs get 6 for the first time in the game. First touchdown of the game. So again, he's looking right. And I should have mentioned, Kelsey would have been capped pretty well. Like if Mahomes did throw this and get it past Thibodeau, I mean, the defender did get over the top, and we've seen Kelsey has not been a huge yards after the catch guy this year, although he's been better than he was last year. But then what's important to me in this play is look at the window that Mahomes throws into. So he looks over to Kelsey, looks back, and even though Thornton does, he got open off the release, 22 does a great job of closing on this. He makes this, even by the time Mahomes is throwing this is a tight window. And look at that. He fits this ball in. That was threading the needle. And again, you just like that Mahomes is throwing these passes. This is not, a throw that's an easy, put it anywhere throw. He's got to fire this in. He knows the gap's going to be tiny. He's got to hit him in stride, right on the line. That's the kind of throw that you want Patrick Mahomes to be confidently attempting. That's what Matty Lane of KCSN would call throwing with your chest. Just fire that ball in there, and when Mahomes is playing like that, the good risk-taking Mahomes, that's really when he's at his best. We jump ahead to 9:26 to go in the fourth quarter. At this point, the Chiefs are up 16-9, and they're faced with a third down at their own 26 or 27 yard line or so. Patrick Mahomes is lined up in the shotgun, and he's got Kareem Hunt to his left, 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, takes a snap, drops back, initially then gets pressure up the middle and throws one, which is caught by Tyquan Thornton for a first down. This one is really indicative of Patrick Mahomes just hanging in there, taking a big shot and trying to make something happen. And sometimes, things fall your way. They say that fortune favors the brave. Well, I think that's the case on this play here. So if we take a look at what the Chiefs are trying to get done, it's going to be kind of hard to figure out what they were doing on the left side here, because Tyquan Thornton initially gets caught up with his defender and isn't able to release it. He's probably running like a full clear out, maybe just a go route here, but it's difficult to say because he's not able to completely get into his route. Kelsey comes and looks like he's got an option route to go in or out. On this side of the field, Hollywood Brown is coming all the way across the field here on a deep over. And sorry, I should have let it run so he releases in here. So he's running all the way over across the formation from here. And Juju Smith-Schuster, as you can see, is coming up the field and then is going to cut in on a dig route. So what ends up happening here, the Giants are covering this man-to-man. They've got cover one man as they have for a lot of this game. You got one deep safety and everyone else is manned up. As you see, Thornton gets jammed in his release, and it looks like Mahomes is looking left initially. And he probably wants Kelsey. As Kelsey comes in through his option, he turns and Thornton's man runs right into Kelsey. Their spacing is completely off because Thornton got jammed so much at the line. And what ends up happening is there's like a natural pick occurs. This is a completely unintentional pick that sets Thornton free right here. Well, in the meantime, while Mahomes was trying to sort through that stuff on the left side where no one was coming open because of the timing, Hollywood did a good job on his over. If Mahomes had been reading the right side of the field initially, he would have just thrown this immediately. Like, this is there for the first down right there. But Mahomes only came back to it late when pressure was coming up in his face. If you notice, he sees Hollywood now and just makes that throw as he's about to get hit. He hangs in there to make that throw. The throw ends up being a little bit behind, but it looks like it's going to get there. Although 21, again, does a great job of coming and undercutting this, just like he did on that deep pass to Thornton we talked about earlier. 21, very good at taking good angles and using his makeup speed, but it looks like this ball is going to get to Hollywood regardless. But Thornton, now having gotten his man unintentionally picked by Kelsey, turns around and sees the ball coming to his area and just undercuts it himself and catches it for a 21-yard gain. So not the guy the ball was supposed to go to, but It looks like this probably would have gone to Hollywood anyway. As good of a job as 21 was doing trying to undercut this, I think the ball was going to get to Hollywood. But Thornton ended up undercutting it himself, making the catch, 21-yard gain to the unintended receiver. You can see it from this view as Mahomes is just about to get plowed by Dexter Lawrence. Here comes the ball, and you see this throw is going to make it to Hollywood. Like, this would have been a completion to Hollywood Brown, but Thornton just came underneath and took it. It's a first down for Kansas City. But again, you just love that Mahomes hung in there. He read the left side of the play, which completely got ruined. It's also good that, we're having guys now beat man coverage. And this part of them beating man coverage was the release, right? Andy kind of got Hollywood open here. Juju's on the line of scrimmage. Hollywood Brown's coming underneath, so he gets a free release. He's releasing behind Juju, so it causes his defender to have to drop. And so when Hollywood comes across the middle, there's already natural separation. So, I can't give all the credit here to Hollywood for winning. And part of it was just play design and the way the release was set up. But he won this route. Mahomes got it over, and Thornton ended up stealing it from him instead of a defender. Good to see Mahomes hanging in there, taking a big hit, and getting the ball downfield for a big first down. Now that play might remind you, if you go back into your memory bank, to 2018 when the Chiefs played a game in Foxborough against the Patriots. The Chiefs at the time were undefeated, 5-0. This was Mahomes' first year starting, playing Tom Brady and the Patriots in New England. And in the fourth quarter, which was a fireworks-filled quarter, not as much as the AFC Championship game that these two would play later in the year, but on this play, the Chiefs had a 3rd and goal trying to take their first lead of the game since they were up 3-0 at the very beginning. And Mahomes, they were trying to run a play to get Kareem Hunt open out into the flat. And this is kind of an Andy Reid special, where against man coverage, they send routes in this direction and let the back release, usually through the B gap, going the other way to create traffic for his defender and try to get him open. His defender actually did a good job navigating everything, and Mahomes, I think, was fading back and hoping that Hunt would turn this up. But Hunt kept running it flat along the line of scrimmage, and so it would have been incomplete, except that Tyreek Hill was also in the back of the end zone and slid underneath it to make the catch for the touchdown. And seeing Tyquan Thornton come up with this pass in the Giants game, here we'll watch Hunt again, releasing out there. Mahomes threw it to allow him to fade back, and Hill ended up coming and making the catch right there. To be fair, Mahomes, when asked about it in the press conference after the game, they asked him, was that pass intended for Hunt or for Hill? I think he said something to the extent of, a magician never reveals his tricks. But that play, to seeing Thornton take that pass intended for Brown, reminded me of that play back from 2018 when it looked like it was supposed to be a touchdown to Hunt that was going to miss, and Hill came in and cleaned it up to get the touchdown. Jump ahead to later in the same drive. Now with 7 minutes to go in the game, the Chiefs have a 2nd and 10 at around the 35-yard line of the Giants. Mahomes is in the shotgun. He's got Pacheco to his left, and he drops back and throws this deep down the numbers on the left side to Tyquan Thornton. Initially appeared to be caught for a touchdown. On replay review, it was found that the ball hit the ground as Thornton went to the ground, and so it was ruled an incomplete pass. But let's take a look at what's going on here on this one. So this is 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends are Noah Gray and Travis Kelce, and the 2 wide receivers are Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown, both in more condensed splits here. So what the Chiefs are going to do on this play, it's actually a bunch of fairly short route combinations. So Kelce is going to come and run a little out. Brown looks like he was going to run an out and up, but kind of stopped the route pretty early into it. Gray also just kind of runs a curl, and then Thornton just runs a go down the numbers. The Giants are playing man-to-man. They're playing a cover one, but it's actually a pretty creative cover one. You know, your standard cover one is you're rushing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll have one linebacker that's assigned to the running back, one linebacker that is going to be just a spy, like a robber in the middle of the field, and then everybody else, you're manned up. Usually you've got like your nickel or another linebacker manned up, and then there will be one guy deep. But watch what the Giants do here. It's not just your standard rush four. They actually drop both of their ends. So Thibodeau just comes out, and he ends up being like this isn't Thibodeau, this is Brian Burns. I think I might have made that mistake earlier in the video too. For some reason, I've been calling Burns Thibodeau a lot. Brian Burns drops out, and he ends up being the quote-unquote robber defender, the guy in an underneath zone. Thibodeau also drops out, but he drops out to add a double team to Kelsey. So it's not just this guy guarding Kelsey. Kelsey is doubled up, and he realizes it immediately. They have man-to-man coverage here, man-to-man coverage here, man-to-man coverage here, and again, man-to-man coverage on the running back. But what they end up doing then is, since they've got the double here, I should rephrase that. They don't have man-to-man coverage on the running back because they've got the double on Kelsey. But everybody, look, you got man, your deep guy, your zone guy, and they're rushing 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth is coming from here. So it's interesting. They get to the same thing with, the big difference being that they don't have someone to account for the running back, which doesn't matter because he stays in for pass protection. And the reason they don't have someone to account for the running back is they've got a double on Kelsey with one of the defensive ends. But it amounts to the same thing. It ends up being cover one man, and that means you have one safety in the middle of the field, and Mahomes likes his chances. Thornton is one-on-one, and you see Mahomes sees that, and he's going immediately. Before, he's throwing this very early, makes the decision to throw. Thornton beats his man. It's a great throw. Great effort by Thornton, and he's just not quite able to corral it when going to the ground. It actually looked great live. I was sure it was a touchdown. But then once we saw the close-up replay, you could see it wasn't. But look, that's his guy. He's Reed. He sees the one-on-one. He's got him. Thornton snags it, and then right here when he goes to the ground, he lost control of it momentarily before regaining it. Ended up being an incomplete pass. But nice play against that coverage. Good job by Mahomes and Thornton. They just weren't quite able to connect there. All right, so let's jump over to just after that incomplete pass, and we'll take a look. We've got Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got 3 to the left, 2 to the right, and then Kareem Hunt comes into the backfield, motioning over. Looks like a man indicator as they get a man run with him. He drops back, then gets pressure from his left, throws across his body, across the field, and hits Thornton down right about at the half-yard line or so for a big first down. So let's take a look at what happened here in this play. The Chiefs are in 11 personnel again. That's one running back, Kareem Hunt, one tight end, Travis Kelce. The wide receivers are Jason Brownlee on the right, Tyquan Thornton in the slot, and Juju Smith-Schuster over on the left. So what they're going to do, Brownlee is going to run a clear-out route. And on this side, they're going to have Kelce initially stay in the block, and he's going to release late. They're going to have Juju come up and run an in-cut. He's actually going to kind of take the dig all the way across the field. And Tyquan Thornton is going to come and run a corner. Now, it looks like the jam on Thornton kind of messed with the timing. You almost wonder if Juju was supposed to ultimately run a pick here. The way that they had this being an in-breaking route and this being an out-breaking route against man coverage. Because, again, this is cover one man from the Giants. But if you notice, Thornton gets jammed up here. He has to really fight through this release and doesn't come out to his corner really late. And he ends up so far inside, he's starting running to the corner from the middle of the field, essentially. So it was a good job by the defender initially to disrupt the route, and a great job by Thornton just fighting through the contact and going for it anyway. Mahomes, because of that, has to wait longer on this route than he probably intended, and he ultimately rolls over as Kingsley loses on this one. Kingsley, who really had a good day overall, but he's contending with Abdul Carter, who's a fast rusher, an edge rusher who's playing on the interior on this play, gets him with a nice spin move. Mahomes rolls to his right, and then Thornton starts breaking over to his left, and look at this throw. I feel like because of how nice of a catch Thornton made, I didn't realize until watching the film day after how great of a throw this was from Mahomes. Mahomes is rolling to his right, releases this from, a few yards to the right of the hash at about the 46.5 yard line. He throws across his body and across the field to the numbers on the other side, and Thornton makes the catch at about the 4 yard line or something. So we're talking about like 42 yards of distance just straight down the field, and then from, let's see exactly where he was when he released it. From to the right of the right hash all the way over to the numbers on the other side. Whew. And going the other direction too, throwing across your body. It's not like he had like his feet behind him. He was winding up and going forward. I mean, he was going forward, but to his right, throwing back to his left. My gosh, that's a great throw. And again, it's just, he's got a guy that he can trust. That's really what it comes down to. Thornton is clearly a guy that he trusts. Thornton has to adjust to this ball. It's not an easy catch. And it's such a luxury for a quarterback when you're throwing a deep ball and you don't have to hit the guy in stride for it to be completed. That's really what the problem was with guys like McCole Hardman, for example, is that in order for a deep pass to Hardman to be completed, essentially Mahomes had to hit him in stride. Hardman was running the route on paper, whereas Thornton is able to adjust here to a ball that's coming at more of a depth than he anticipated. He's running this way. The ball ends up coming over here. He has to adjust. He's able to track the ball in real time, adjust to it, come down with it. And as many people pointed out, one of the more hilarious screen grabs with his hand up in the air celebrating the catch from underneath the defender. So if we check this one out from the end zone cam, you see Mahomes is looking left, and because of here we're starting to see the kind of jamming that was going on there. But because of that, Mahomes had to take more. This route took longer to develop than he anticipated. And because Carter beat Kingsley with a nice spin move, you got to give him credit. This is a great rush from Abdul Carter. Swipes over, and then as he gets Kingsley moving to his right, spins back over to Kingsley's left. Mahomes has to come out in order to buy enough time, and look at this throw across his body down the field. What a great throw. What a catch. Great job tracking the ball by Thornton, and a big setup for the Chiefs down inside the 1 yard line. And now we get to 2:20 to go in the game. The Chiefs are up 22-9. They have a 3rd and 4 at their own 16, trying to get a first down to ice the game. We've got Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun with Kelsey and Brown to his right. He's got Thornton and Juju his left. Juju motions over to the right. There's Hunt in the backfield. Mahomes fakes a handoff and rolls right. Throws a deep shot across the field. It is broken up by number 21 again, intended for Hollywood Brown. So what happened on this one? We've got Juju motioning over. So the Chiefs essentially go for the kill shot here to try to end the game. They go deep. Their route combination, they've got Thornton running an in-cut. Juju is coming up and running it out. And they've got, as they roll the pocket to the right, they've got Hollywood Brown running a deep over toward the left. The Giants are playing man coverage. So as this goes, everybody is manned up. And they have a deep safety over the top. And so essentially Mahomes on this rollout has a decision about, he doesn't even really think about scrambling, which is something that you could have seen him do at another time. I feel like, he has this one defender here, Juju right here. He's got to make to the 20-yard line. So that is, scrambling is something that you could have seen him do at some point. But in this one, he's got the confidence and he's ready. You can see his mindset. He wants to go for the deep shot. And I think part of the reason is that he's got the safety over here on this side. He knows the route is ultimately going in that direction. And he has to make the decision to throw it pretty early. And at this point, things are looking pretty good. This is Brown. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. We'll be able to see it from above. But he kind of curls this and takes a step in this direction before pulling it that way. So you can tell what he's doing a little more by how the safety is reacting here. The safety is opening up toward the sideline because that's the way that Brown is starting to run this route. So the idea is he's like, bring it here and then coming back over. And you can see it fools the safety entirely. The safety has to wheel back around. Unfortunately, it doesn't fool the corner whatsoever. So even though it looks good right here that he's going to come back over, as Mahomes is going to throw it, once he does, the corner is just there step for step. Essentially, that false move and back just gave the corner a little bit of extra time to come catch up with him. And he's ready to undercut. 21 did a really good job playing deep balls in this game. And so he's there the whole way, and Brown is not really able to fight for this ball. He's just lucky that 21 didn't intercept it. But again, from Mahomes' perspective, when he's making this decision to throw, he doesn't have all this information, right? He's hitching back, trusting his guy who has won the first part of the route. It's just that this move that he pulls right here is not enough to convince 21 that he has to change his trajectory. If he got 21 to mirror, then he would have popped open going this way. But 21 just keeps it this way the whole way, so he allows the movement and just stays with it. Maybe part of the reason is because he knows he has a safety over the top. In any case, he's right there underneath to try to make this play, and almost does. If you see it from this angle, you'll be able to really see the nuances of Brown's route a little better from this viewpoint. So he releases inside. He's got the leverage he wants because he ultimately is going to break that way. But as you can see, he's starting to drive in this direction, and you can see the safety responding by coming in this direction. So he's driving over to his right, and the hope is to get the corner to mirror and try to continue. But if you notice, the corner stays to his inside, and then as he comes back, the corner is just right there underneath it, and is almost able to make the play for the interception. Again, I really feel like past Mahomes in previous, even earlier this year maybe, would have just seen this and just taken off toward the sideline, gained the 4 yards, and the game would have been over. But I like that he's trying this. Just go, trust your guys, try to make a play. It unfortunately looks like Hollywood may not be that guy down the field, but he's got that guy in Tyquan Thornton and Xavier Worthy, and at times, if you remember, Rashee Rice had shown some propensity to win down the field. He had 2 go routes, I remember, both against the Bengals, one at the end of the 23 season, and then one at the beginning of the 24 season, a touchdown. So he has some guys that are willing to and able to get some separation and make plays down the field. It looks like Hollywood Brown may not be at that. He may be at a different phase in his career where he's more of a short to intermediate guy now. But we'll see going forward. In any case, it's encouraging that Mahomes is really trying to push the ball down the field, trying to push the ball into tight windows, and it's prognostically very good for how this year is going to turn out for him.